I'm Michelle, and welcome to me screaming into the void, mostly about books. This video is going to be a pure rant video about two things that I've realized is kind of pet peeves of mine in regarding to especially romance books that I've been reading. And this isn't sort of problematic pet peeves. This isn't, we should talk about this pet peeves. This is just pure pet peeves that annoy me, that I don't understand. And hopefully one of you can either explain it to me or rant along with me or rant about something else. Yeah. But the first pet peeve, I realized that when I read Broken Wings by Terry Blackstock. Now, I've read several books by Terry Blackstock, but this really left a sour taste in my mouth because of this one pet peeve. It ruined the entire book for me. And the book is about Erin, who is a pilot, and Addison, who is a investigator of planes that crash. And her best friend was on a plane that crashed, and Addison is then investigating that accident. Now, the second book that I read where this thing, my pet peeve, happened is Naked in Death by J.D. Robb. There you have Eve, who is a police detective and who is investigating a series of murders. And one of the suspects and her love interest is the elusive Rourke. So as you can see, both books are sort of investigatory books where one person is trying to figure out either a crime or an accident, and the other party is involved in some kind of way. And I understand, in theory, why this is exciting. I can understand that some of the tension is on Erin, who is, of course, wanted to defending her best friend, who is now dead, and Addison is trying to figure out the truth. At the same time, they are falling in love with one another. And the same with Eve and Rourke. I get that. And I get that some of the tension is Addison or Eve going against their professional code and trying to figure out, should I give in? Should I sort of step away from my job? What is going on here? I get that's where the tension comes from. And that's fine. What annoys me is when Erin and Rourke forgets that someone is trying to do a job here and takes it personally. When Erin takes it personally that the guy she's flirting with is trying to do her job and takes it as a personal insult. He's trying to do a job here, Erin. Or there is a scene in Naked in Death that I rolled my eyes at so hard, where Eve drops some of the pictures from the crime scenes and Rourke picks them up and looks at them. And he looks at her and he looks at the pictures and he says, "You really think I could do this? You've known each other for 2 days. You've clearly are attracted to one another. That's fine. But it's her job. It's her job to see if you are one of the culprits, to check if you are the person who did this or not. Don't take that personally." So that is clearly a pet peeve of mine. When people forget that the other person is just trying to be a professional. It's nothing personal. And you can absolutely have the tension of being on opposite sides of an investigation without one of the parties going absolutely idiot and not understanding that someone is just trying to do their job. They're just trying to do their job. Stop thinking like an unemotional 3-year-old. That's an insult to unemotional 3-year-olds. So clearly, we keep forgetting that someone is just being a professional thing is clearly a pet peeve of mine. that can actually ruin entire books for me. This book is now being donated because despite me having enjoyed several other of Terry Blackstock's books, I'm not going to reread this because Erin is stupid, because she isn't. Before I go into defend Erin and work,
Yeah.
I understand that it can be difficult to be either investigated or have someone you care about being investigated. At the same time, so for example, if my husband should be murdered, God forbid, but he is murdered, I will be the main suspect and the first suspect because statistically, the partner and romantic partner is the killer. That's just how the world works. I can then be upset that the police is going to ask me questions and think that maybe I have done something when the love of my life has just been brutally murdered. And that is fine that I am frustrated about that. But it's nothing personal. They're not asking it because they're seeing my face and doesn't like my face or something like that. They're doing it because statistically, I'm the most likely to have done it. And they would have done it no matter who the wife or husband couple is. That's my point. You're allowed the emotions. The emotions are fine, but it's when they keep forgetting or being insulted by the fact that someone is just trying to be a professional that ruins books for me. So that is my one pet peeve. And my second pet peeve is when I read the book Outlander, which I did as a part of my reading romance and trying to understand romance project as an example of adventure romance. And everything in the book tells me that I should love that series. I should have read the first book, fallen completely in love, read all of them, bought first editions of all of them, seen the TV series, and do a scene-for-scene comparison of why the book is better than the TV series, but the TV series is also okay. But there is a thing in Outlander that completely just ruined the book for me. Why is she married? That's how the book starts. She is married to a boring, nerdy guy that she chose. She chose to marry him. He is not cruel. He isn't doing anything. He isn't cheating on her. He is just boring. But you chose to marry that boring guy. She is then on her honeymoon, and then she is plopped back in time. But why does she have to be married? What did this boring, nerdy guy do to be so disrespected? Poor guy. He didn't do anything. He just wanders off. Wanted to talk about nature. You chose him. Why did you choose him if you don't love him or like him? And here's my problem. You don't need that in that series. The series wouldn't have actually been different, or at least the first book wouldn't have actually been different, if she hadn't been married. Now, I know that she talks about her modern husband from time to time, and that he is the reason why she says she needs to get back to her own time. But you don't really need him for that. You know what else she could be talking about? Penicillin, women's right to vote, the right to vote in general, plaster, cars. You could have put anything in there. You didn't need to have this poor punching bag in the book, especially when she chose him. And I know why he's in the book, culturally speaking, because having these poor men were a staple of romance in the 90s. Just see any Meg Ryan movie where she is with someone that she is considering boring and uninteresting, and she doesn't really know why she's with him, but she is, and then she finds the main love interest, and she breaks it off with her first boyfriend or husband, and there is no reason for it. I have been thinking that maybe it is something to do with the general 90s ennui that very clearly influenced a lot of the culture produced in the 90s. What I'm talking about is that people were doing so well, especially if you are looking to the Anglo-American market and the Anglo-American culture. They were doing so well because they were doing financially well. And when you don't have really any problems, not being satisfied feels unsatisfying. If there is war, if there is famine, if there is our planet is sort of imploding in front of us, being unsatisfied with life feels in some way justified. But if everything is fine, not being satisfied feels wrong in some way. And so what you see with a lot of these 90s Anglo-American cultural products is this sort of ennui, especially at the start, with sort of the boring husband that you chose. And I don't like it. I really don't like it. I don't like having characters that you chose be a form of punching bag. Now, if the person had been violent, or if there'd been some kind of justification for her not liking him and therefore wanting to sort of dream or fantasize of someone else, that's fine. Do that. But he's done nothing wrong except being boring, and you chose him. So that's my two sort of pet peeves and pet peeve rants for books, and that just a ruin for me because please tell me I'm not the only one. And thank you. What are your pet peeves? What do you think about my pet peeves? Do you think I'm probably exaggerating, but at the same time, I feel very justified in my hatred of them, especially the one with them. I don't enjoy when we make characters punching bags. So what are your sort of not serious pet peeves, but sort of idiotic pet peeves that no one else understands? Let me know, and let's rant about our pet peeves. And thank you for listening to me screaming into the void.